Bali needs to make a new image where forget about the mass tourism, but make it the most sustainable destination out there.
Thank you, Ronald Akili, for being here from Desa Potato Head in Bali and speaking to us at Condé Nast Traveller. I'm Juliet Kinsman. I'm the sustainability editor, and I can't wait to talk to you about how we might be able to travel better in the future. So, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ronald Akili. I'm the founder of Potato Head here in Bali, and very excited to be in here.
Potato Head had an interesting start, obviously, as a beach club. Tell me how you got into hospitality and how it started and what Bali used to be like.
It was out of a personal project. It was a fun project. We opened the first Potato Head in Jakarta. Again, like I said, it was a fun project. It was a project for my wife, who was a chef, and she was living in London then. And we wanted to find a way for us to be together in Jakarta. I was always into art and design and architecture, and so we've decided why don't we open a restaurant together with her. And so I work on the design. I built the restaurant for her. She was running the whole kitchen. After a year of doing that, we started to fall in love with the industry. We've decided to expand it to Bali, and we want to understand multiple operations within the hospitality, starting from restaurants, entertainment, bigger venues like beach clubs, then going to the hotels. That was the first journey how we first started. That was 10 years ago.
So, yeah, I think it's really important actually, and we'll talk about this, about how art and design has had such a big role in what you do. Tell me how that came about, how Katamama came about.
So our mission for Katamama was to really showcase Indonesian craftsmanship. Balinese and Indonesians have a very strong craftsmanship, one of the best artisans out there. And we found this village who's making these traditional bricks that was used in the old days to build temples. We started to do a lot of design works, R&D on that, and we've decided to put an order of I think 1.8 million bricks. Everything is handmade, hand pressed. It took them a couple of years, and we've built the whole hotel out of that bricks.
And what's really amazing, obviously, with that project is that the village then had an economic engine again. I mean, they otherwise their craftsmanship would have died out possibly. So you sort of saved the indigenous local economy.
There were when we first came, they were telling us they were slowly running out of business, and because of that order, they were able to build a whole new factory within the Desa again. And then now, since Katamama, we start seeing the same bricks being used in new architecture throughout Bali and throughout Indonesia.
And I love your, I mean, slogan, but good times do good. Tell me about that.
At the end of the day, we feel in hospitality, it's all about making people a good time. It doesn't matter. I mean, like for us, like the idea of a genuine service, the idea of a genuine hospitality comes from the heart. That's at the core of the business. And if we can invite people that way, if we can invite people through inspiring design, through inspiring service, through genuine service, through great events, great artworks, and on the back of it, we just want to do it in a better way and kind like show people, inspire people that you can get all of that without compromise.
Hospitality travel, I mean, obviously it's changed dramatically recently. But overall, what do you think? Were there any things that made you angry or frustrated about the world in particular? And perhaps were there ways of addressing that within what you do as a business?
We started not as a sustainable company at all. To be honest, like I was not even aware the situation was that bad. When my first wake up call was, I took my son out Noah for a surf, and we were 500-meter out on the beach, and we were still surrounded by trash. It was like we were swimming in the trash bowl. That moment, I woke up. I realized that I mean, it's very disrespectful of us. It's almost like we don't have any respect at all for the planet or any other living beings. We're killing them slowly, and in the process, we're killing ourselves. Like as a father and as a human being, I I couldn't just close my eyes. I know I needed to take a change. And for me, the best way out for me to do that was to use my business. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in the hospitality industry, and I see how wasteful the industry is. Like, so since that moment, I work with my team with the help of others as well. We start analyzing, we start working step by step on how we can improve our own business.
In terms of art and design and Indonesian culture, uh, tell me about why that matters to you, and why you've been using hospitality to sort of showcase that.
I mean, it's a personal passion of mine, art, design, and Indonesian architecture. My first business was to open an art gallery. We promoted Indonesian contemporary artists to the world. Like, we've started bringing artists to New York, to Europe, and they were really unknown back then. This was 15 years ago. Then the next project I did was a residential project in Jakarta, and we work in trying to showcase what is Indonesian contemporary architecture is all about. So we've created about 20 houses with 10 Indonesian architects. We didn't cut a single tree. We left the contour as it is, and everything needs to be local materials and show a modern interpretation of it. And anytime I can use a modern approach in looking at the ancient craft, that's what I feel create a unique style and a new unique approach.
I think with sustainability, still a lot of people connect that with the environment and environmental
Yeah.
sustainability. And what you're talking about is cultural sustainability. And that is just so incredibly important. And I think that's what you've been achieving. And now you've sort of taken it to the next level with the whole Desa Potato Head and the whole village.
Why do you need to create another resort? Like, for us, like we live and breathe out of creativity, like myself and my team. And it will be a dream to create the idea of a desa, a village, which what the Balinese culture is all about, to share our home with the rest of the world. But in there, you not only just be able to sleep, eat, but we can actually inspire your creativity to music, to design and art, and everything with the hidden purpose of trying to make the planet a better place, trying to make yourself a better self, but without preaching it in a way. It's just like showcasing beautiful stuff and making them having a good time.
You've just told a lot of stories. And I think what you do, which is really quite unique and extraordinary, I use the word edutainment. So it's entertaining, but you're also educating people, you're teaching and you're learning and you're sharing your learning. What would you say has really worked as a business in terms of showcasing innovations and solutions that can have a positive impact?
I think there's three important milestones that we've done. The first one, I would have to say, is culture. It took a lot out of us, and we keep saying that to our team. We're not the most sustainable company, but each day we're gonna work hard in learning, finding new ways from others, and making things better step by step. The culture has completely shifted from where we were till now. When we first started a few years back, we were contributing 50% of our waste to landfill. Now we're less than 5%. And when we start this, our industries and people in our industries has been telling us it's really impossible to do it in a large scale operation. You can do it in a small restaurant, minimum sitting, to create a zero waste type of restaurant. And again, like, honestly, we work our ass off in making this happen. Like, for us, when we do that, we've proven to ourselves, and we've proven to our team that it can be done and it must be done. We want to create a platform where we can showcase this to our guests, but in a more inspiring way. So we decided to create a sustainability lab. And in that lab, we explore the possibilities to the eyes of designers, artists, on how you can turn waste into beautiful products. So we create a lot of the amenities on our new hotel is made within that lab. Believe it or not, our team actually create the soap dispensers, the tissue boxes, the trash bins from leftover styrofoams, plastic cap bottles, shellfish from Asian restaurant, and all of that is processed within the lab. We showcase how we make recycled plastic, how we turn recycled plastic into furnitures. Max Lam, one of the most really great designers that I love, showcase that how that process is being done and let the guests to be part of that process. When guests checked in now, Now we check them then in our Circle store. In the Circle store, what we do, we give them a zero waste kit. So in that kit, it consists of a shopping bag made out of recycled materials. We give them stainless steel water bottle, and they can refill their water all over the Desa. We give them bottle containers for them to refill their mosquito repellent, their sun lotions. We give them bamboo straw. We give them food and cutleries if they want to go to take their food to the beach and stuff. We give them these food containers, and we give everything on complimentary on us. And when we do that, it's not just because we don't want them to leave anything behind in the island, but we hope when they leave, they take this mindset with them. The first approach that they get when they enter Potato Head is this idea of a zero waste kit. And we hope they take this mindset when they go home, and when they start traveling to other destinations, they take this kit with them and don't leave anything behind. It's sort of like, for us, this is our way of paying it forward, like paying it forward to the next destination. And since we've started doing this, we have so many guests that send us a message. Not only they're thankful of bringing them this awareness, they just couldn't believe it that we're giving such beautiful products to them on complimentary, thinking like, how generous are you of doing that? And that's the type of things that we're thinking, like, instead of preaching it to them, we'll deliver the good times first. It just so happened to be done in a better way.
Tell me more about your collaboration and journey with Oma and Rem Koolhaas's design studio in terms of creating this hotel, in terms of lots of materials you used that were upcycled, and, as you say, presenting solutions to problems facing us.
So a lot of the rooms in there, the amenities are made in-house. It's made within our lab. They use reclaimed wood that they found on the beach to create this new texture in every single room with leftover bricks and pigmentation of the natural earth to create that planks of a texture on the walls. We use they use the they created they work with the supplier in Indonesia where it's taking the idea of Indonesian rattan craftsmanship and but it's made out of recycled plastic. So we use 1.7 tons of plastic bottle waste in Indonesia and turn it into this plastic sort of weaving, like sort of like plastic ropes, and they weave that as the ceiling throughout the whole building.
How do you feel about the future for travel, and what would your advice be to everyone to try and create a better world through our actions?
I always like to think that imagine visiting a destination like visiting a friend's home. You don't litter all over it. Sometimes you come with a gift and you leave everything behind as it was. Be grateful and be thankful about it. And then for me, those simple mindset with an effort of respect, those simple mindset will create so much changes with that.
If someone wanted to plan a really amazing trip that's going to have a positive impact, what would you suggest they look at and think about when planning a holiday that could be a force for good?
Definitely the days about mass tourism should be gone. And when people plan for a trip, it should be planning as imagine this is once in a lifetime experience they could have in their life. How can they contribute to that space? And how could they also like bring the best out of them by visiting that space? Having that different mindset instead of just taking, I think will make your trip much more meaningful. And at the same time, you're gonna do much better good. Like again, like the idea of good times do good.
Obviously, I'm familiar with that because I actually lived in Bali for a bit, and my daughter went to the Green School thanks to you inspiring me to go down that road. I think that really sort of highlights why Bali is a unique destination. Yes, a lot of people who haven't been there maybe and were being cynical might say it was somewhere where over tourism was happening. And there was a strain on natural resources. But at the same time, it really is this crucible of change makers and pioneers. So tell me about the Green School.
The founder of Green School, John and Cynthia Hardy, has been a friend of mine for so long. John has been a mentor of mine, and he's been preaching me since many, many years ago. Ronald, you gotta go green. Ronald, you gotta go green. Ronald, you gotta go green. And I saw how when he first shared his vision for Green School, I saw when they first started, and I mean the perseverance that John and Cynthia have is just amazing. And from it started from just pretty much a mud pit with a single bamboo structure, and now it has grown so much. It has attracted so many change makers. They have produced so many change makers, and it's just amazing. And I find it. I think, like you said again, like that type of businesses, like it works. Like it's good business, and it's also producing better things for the world. Like I think there should be much more of that.
Definitely. I'm still thinking fondly when we would gather in the open air bamboo sort of auditorium and
Yeah.
we'd sing Green School, the Bamboo Cathedral. It just it's like something out of Disney. But you know, it's so small. It sounds like a cult. No, it's not like that. But I think what it was people from all over the world sharing new ideas. Some would
Yes.
work, some were sensible, some were not practical. Many were just so out there. But it's about thinking differently.
Yes, it's like, and I think imagine a new type of tourism where nowadays I think one of the blessings from COVID, people realize that you don't really need to go to the office to all the time to go to work. Your kids doesn't really need to go to school all the time in the same school. Like you can have partial remote. Imagine if the way you travel is to take 3 months off, but now you can live in the place, but you can also work there. Your kids can get education, whether that's through online and green school camps or other camps around that. You find like I think that's a much more sustainable way, but also much more enriching way of traveling.
I think you've made a really, really good point about education, actually, is that we all were tied into very rigid, traditional ways of doing things, systems.
Mm.
And you have shown us and talked to us about how learning and educating ourselves can actually be really fun and inspiring. And
Yeah.
we can do things differently. We can always challenge the status quo. And I think that's what I'm getting from everything you do. And people who are pioneering is that hospitality, travel, we don't have to follow the same guidelines. We can do things differently now.
Exactly. I mean, I couldn't believe it's almost like I think challenges the status quo is probably the best thing that you could do.
Can you just talk to me a little bit about some of the aspects? Because of course, your zero waste restaurant, tell me about some of the components of what you do and how you are delivering hospitality differently in your way, which also, yeah, tell me about that.
Sorry. So the way we look at the creative village, imagine, I mean, I love MoMA PS1 and the program they do. So when we first had that vision, I would say, imagine if we create a MoMA PS1, but there's rooms and there's restaurant in it. So our latest project, you have when you enter, you don't really enter into a lobby space, but you enter into a bamboo room, and inside that it showcases all of the products that we made out of waste. So from the recycled plastic, the Sustainalism Lab is also there. Furnitures that we made out of waste. How we showcase the amenities that we made out of the lab. And then as you venture out further, you can go to the beach club. Now we have a rooftop dedicated to installations made out of recycled plastic. So we have a huge, uh, I mean, an artist doing a huge disco ball on top of the rooftop, made out of recycled plastic. And we have, and we have bamboo installations that's being done by Joko Avianto, a contemporary Indonesian artist here. But instead of bamboo, he used recycled plastic turned into bamboo formation. We also have a music studio. When you enter there, you can listen to a high audiophile system, and we run programs from sound healing. We run programs with vibration. We run programs with different type of genres from Indonesian old discos, Indonesian ancient sounds, all the way to DJ Harvey type of discos era. We have a gallery space where we're going to run and curate exhibitions from, again, design. We're going to create exhibitions from art. We're going to create the exhibitions, most of it with an ultimate creation on sustainability. I think that's all the approaches that we have. We've just launched our plant-based restaurant, an Indonesian plant-based restaurant, where we really want to showcase just like solid Indonesian food, but we imagine all of those ingredients with the mindset of plant-based. So we switch, we make satays like our kebab. We use mushrooms to do that. We use jackfruit to make our rendang. Rendang is a staple beef stew that is known in Indonesia. So instead of using beef, we use simmered 24 hours jackfruit to create that same texture and stuff. So those are some of the things that where we try to deliver that unique experiences.
So if I were to ask you to leave one sort of thought or advice or wisdom or about the future, just one final thought to leave with people about how can we travel better, what would that be?
I always get overwhelmed when I see things. Like I feel like I want to make a change, but there's so much problems out there where I don't even know where to start. Since I've started then until now, I've realized that all it takes is just one person making that change. It creates this ripple effects that is just tremendous. And for me, like one advice that I have is just like it starts with you. If you can again, before you go to the destination, imagine that you're about to visit a friend's home you haven't seen in a long time. Like you would want to bring them a gift. You're gonna put so much respect going to that house, and you're gonna live that house with love. With that mindset alone, if you create that, that ripple effect will change. People will start demanding the industry to get better. People will start wanting more, and the people that's doing it will start wanting to deliver it more, just because the business now only caters to the people that want a more sustainable product. Again, like I said, it starts with you, and you can make that change.
Oh, I find that so inspiring, and I think people will too. I think it's really, really wonderful.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye.